welcome to the second edition of the APA Sports Report. I am Ryan Pittman, and we've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be talking to Coach Beeman and Coach Smoke, Coach Brown, about the upcoming state championship game this Friday. Just to start off, give a basketball update. All 7 of our teams played last night against Rocky Mount Academy. The middle school teams were at home. The JV and varsities were on the road. Shout out to the varsity boys for a 60-42 victory last night. A big road victory, their first road test. Now, coming up tomorrow on Thursday, middle school girls and 7th grade boys will be at Harrell's Academy. And JV girls, JV boys, varsity girls, and varsity boys make the trip back to Rocky Mount, this time to play Faith Christian. Also starting tomorrow, co-ed swimming. So first swim meet of the year. That's going to be at the Kinston Community Center here in Kinston. And now I'm going to bring 2 people to the stage here. I've got Coach Brown and Coach Beeman. Gentlemen, thanks for joining me. We're going to have some fun talking about some football.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Now, Coach, I'm going to start a ticker. Coach Beeman, I'm going to start a ticker here. This is your second appearance, and so you have the most appearances. This is only the second show, but thanks again. Another week. Man, we had a great game this past Friday. We talked about it last week. In the semifinals, played Faith Christian. The team improved to 12-0 on the year, a 44-14 win versus Faith Christian in the semifinals. I have some stats, but I just want to hear from you, Coach Beeman, kind of how you felt like the overall game went.
Yeah, I felt like we had a great week of preparation, and the coaches felt like we were really prepared, and the guys came out and executed a game plan to a T. Really, the game was never in doubt, which is good. When you're the favorite, I think you need to get a lead early. It kind of helps everybody relax, play a little freer, and we did that, jumped on them early, and were able to really put the game away by halftime. And just really, just goes to show you the amount of effort that our coaching staff and our players put into the game plan, and it was just a complete team effort.
Now, Coach Brown, we'll go to you. 14 points for giving up. I know you like 0 points. I know what kind of coach you are. But, the first touchdown that they got in the first half looked like, just a scramble. I don't know if it was busted cover. The play took a long time. I think, initially it was covered. And then the second touchdown kind of, I guess you call it garbage time. They get another one. But how do you feel like the defense really, played in that semifinal matchup?
They played very well. Just to reiterate what Coach Beeman said, those guys was locked in all week, and stuff that usually we could trick them on. A couple times in practice, like it just wasn't working. Like they were laser focused, and I kind of knew everybody was very locked in. When I go in and get them out for special teams, we usually got the guys like listening to music, jumping around. Like everybody had their helmet on, strapped up fully, and sitting in their locker, like just waiting. So I knew that they were gonna come out and execute how they've been executing all week in practice.
Yeah, and so last week, me and Coach Beeman talked about it. We talked about kind of the whole season that was leading up to the semifinal. We talked about the game in Gatlinburg against Evangel. Talked about the first Faith Christian matchup, the East Carteret matchup. But give me kind of your take on this defense that you, Coach Pridgen, Coach Smith, that y'all have worked so hard to get these guys prepared. Kind of take me through this season and your thoughts there.
I think it started off at FCA camp. The guys was covering very well. We had a lot of guys in different spots, just trying to figure out how we were going to move forward during the season and who was going to play what position. And I know we came in 4th place, and we played very good competition during the summertime with those public schools. So, me and Coach Beeman always talked about, if we can cover like this during the year, this team would be very special. Especially going to the 2-4 defense that we kind of didn't know how it was going to work out, but the guys really have bought in. They really, have been wanting to get better, wanting to win. So I think that's a test to why they're having so much success as a team on defense. Like we're not perfect, but we don't really have a weak spot. Like it's not just one or two guys. Like it's all eight guys can play football on our defense, what makes it what it is today.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the FCA camp because I do want to talk about that a little bit later when we're talking about Kerry Christian and Coach. I think you've talked about it this year, so we will come back to that. But let's get into some stats from this past Friday night. Coach Beeman, I'm gonna let you talk about the offensive guys, and then I'm gonna let Coach Brown talk about the defensive guys. But Chris Stimpson. QB1, 5 of 11, 89 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions. Braxton, 18 carries, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. Silas, again, 12 carries, 72 yards, 1 touchdown, but 4 big 2-point conversions on the ground. And then Ben Barrett, 2 receptions, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Tanner Outlaw, the tight end, picked up a touchdown, 1 reception, 1 touchdown for 6 yards. Coach, kind of talk me through the offensive side of the ball Friday night.
Yeah, we came out, had to fill them out how they were going to play us, and they were going to man up Ben and let their guy try to cover him one-on-one. And fortunately for us, Ben was able to get behind him a couple times and caught 2 touchdowns early to get us the lead, 14-0. And once they realized they couldn't cover Ben one-on-one, then they double teamed him. So when we would split Ben out, that would take 2 guys out of the box, and then Silas and Braxton just dominated from that point on. Our offensive line has improved tremendously throughout the year. Coach Stott does a great job with those guys, and we were just getting off the ball, and we were getting 4 or 5 yards anytime we wanted it. So we just kind of throttled back and just said, hey, we're going to ride this ground game, and that's what we were able to do. And really, it's demoralizing when a team knows what you're going to do, and there's still nothing they can do to stop it. And that was impressive. Those Silas Rouse runs on the 2-point conversion, I think they were the same play. I mean, I'm sure everybody in the stadium knew what was coming, but if it's working, we're going to ride that horse. And just a complete team effort from the offensive line to the quarterback to the receivers to the running backs. Just a great team offense.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And exactly. I think we lined up to kick the extra point after the first touchdown. They jumped off sides, so we moved up a little bit, and there was no hesitation. You're like, come on, Silas, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
All right, now switching over to the defense, Coach Brown. So we're going to talk about a couple of guys. Mason Morin, 8 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. Brooks led the team in tackles again with 10 tackles. Braxton, not only the good offensive game, he had 8 tackles. And then we got an interception from Will Stimpson, and then Nick Blair had an interception and a Calls fumble. And that Will's interception, I felt like that was big because that was on their first drive. They got the ball to start the game, and we take it away. And we didn't score on that drive, but that kind of really soured the mood for them, and got the faithful Patriot fans that were there, kind of on their feet earlier. Coach Brown, take me through the defense.
I know you mentioned Mason first, like Coach Beeman mentioned the offensive line. Like on defense, it starts up front as well. When Mason and Brody are dominating and getting pressure with just those two, it makes the guys on the back end job a lot easier. So once they're on, I feel like that's the big part of our defense when those guys are playing well and being aggressive up front. And Brooks, he's come a long way. Brooks played defensive end for us last year, so this is his first year moving back to middle linebacker, playing a new position, and he's a real fast learner. He wants to be good. He wants to be the best. So Brooks is like a sponge. So anything you tell him, like he soaks it up and he immediately puts it into play. So that's why he's playing very well. And Braxton is a Swiss Army knife. I mean, he can do anything. He can play safety. He can play outside linebacker. I mean, against John Paul, he was basically playing defensive end in our defense and still getting off blocks and making tackles inside the box and covering as well. So it's good to see him playing very well. And Will and Nick, Will is kind of the leader back there on the back end. He works very hard. He's always asking me questions about this or that, just to make sure he's in the right spot. And when he's on back there and communicating, I feel like our defense coverage wise thrives like it did last Friday night. But it was very beautiful football to see those guys just flying around, getting deflections, getting interceptions, filling gaps, and making tackles.
Yeah, it looked. I mean, we've talked about it at every game this year. You don't get to 12-0 by not playing complete games, but I mean that game just seemed to be, from the offensive side. I'm gonna say special teams for kickoffs because I don't think we punted at all. But defense. It's just everybody knew their assignments. Everybody covered their assignments. It was a really sound team win, and it was much needed after Coach Beam. We talked about it last week, how the feeling of losing in the semifinals against John Paul last year. I know you said the guys were prepared. I mean, you could see it right from when they ran out from the kickoff. I mean, from the coin toss to the kickoff to the halftime into the second half. Now, what the message at halftime? Running clock. Let's score on this first possession and get a running clock.
Yeah, I mean, the message at halftime, hey, you played a great first half. Now let's go finish the job. We knew we were getting the ball to start the second half. So, we wanted to go down and score and start the running clock because once we got the running clock, we felt like we could start getting some subs in, rest some guys to make sure we were healthy, going into the state championship. So it was really the perfect storm for us. Got that running clock, and then it was, get some young guys some playing time. And, let's start thinking about next week.
Yeah, it was. It's cool to see the soccer guys getting some runs and some tackles.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been big for the kicking game, but I think Henry come in at quarterback, had a great skinny bootleg, or I call it a skinny bootleg, but the bootleg out. Tried it again. I think they were ready for it the second time, but there's definitely some guys. They got some good time, and now that's going to lead us into this Friday. State championship, Coach Beeman. This is, I feel like this is the third year I've been around Parrott. First year, really, deep inside the program. State championships are, I'm not going to say, they're required, but this isn't a new thing for this program, for you, for Coach Brown. We've got Cary Christian. They defeated John Paul. In the semifinals, which was kind of a back and forth game. I know after our game got over, we were watching it on the sidelines. They had to come from behind, beat a really good John Paul team, but we're going to be playing Cary in the state championship in Greenville at John Paul this Friday, 7 p.m. I want to talk about the last time we played Cary because we've played Cary once, gave them their only loss. It was a 52-38 victory. The only game I didn't go to. So, but I was following it. Everybody at Kinston Country Club, we were watching it on the phone. But you led 36-22 at halftime. Cary comes out, scores 16 points in the third quarter. And then I know you talked about it last week, some adjustments y'all made, or we made. We scored 16 points in the fourth quarter, keep them off the board. Kind of take me through that game and some of those adjustments that were made.
Yeah, I mean, Cary's a championship team. They won a state championship last year, and we always tell we want to punch a team in the mouth and see how they respond. And they have the DNA that they're going to respond. And they were on their home field playing with a lot of pride, and they came out that third quarter and they had a different intensity. I mean, I thought they were much more physical that third quarter. 'Cause I thought we had our way with them in the first half, especially up front. So those guys came back and knocked us back. But, one thing we talk about is our schedule has us battle tested. And so we've been down before. We've been down going into the last play of a game. And, our guys don't get rattled. So we were able to withstand that punch from them. and just establish our physicality. Coach Stott always talks about there's no X's and O's, there's no scheme for physicality. If you're more physical than the other team, it's going to be tough on them. So that was what really our guys just stepped up there in the fourth quarter, and we responded. We got a big turnover. Our defense got an interception that really got us the momentum, and the momentum's huge in high school football. And we got things rolling, and we're able to get the ball. We were trying to run the clock out. We were able to get a score, kind of put the game away. So just really complete game from our guys. I think we just came out a little flat that third quarter.
Now, I was talking to Coach Brown before that, but there was 129 total plays. We ran to 69. They ran 60. Is that a kind of game that you like, or do you want a little bit lower? From you first, Coach Beeman, and Coach Brown, your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not what Coach Brown would like in the defense because it's a little easier when there's less plays. But, offensively, we like to turn it into a track meet. We feel like we're deeper and more physical. So the more times we get to lean on you and wear on you, that helps. So, that's our philosophy. And then they throw it around a lot, and they have a high scoring offense. So there's going to be a lot of plays run when Carey and Parrott play. It's a little different when we play John Paul, who tries to just take the air out of the ball. But yeah, I like a fast-paced game, and let's turn it into a track meet.
Coach Brown, your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, like I told you, breaking down film, that was probably one of the longest film sessions I had, with breaking down film. But I mean, I know how Coach Beamer like to coach and like to play offense. So I mean, we kind of geared the defense towards hey, we're gonna score quick, so let's get a stop quick and get right back over here. We kind of complement each other well this year, and that's what's exciting and good to see.
Looking back at that game, these are the stats from the Carey game. Chris had a big game, 9 of 15, 194 yards, 4 touchdowns in the air. Braxton, it sounds like a broken record, but that was a really big game for him. 28 carries, 272 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ben had 4 catches, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns. Silas, 2 receptions, 26 yards, and a touchdown. Coach Beeman, kind of take me through, the offense through that game. And I just want to say something. It seems Ben has 4 receptions, 3 touchdowns. He has 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns. How hard is it when Ben catches the ball to not let him score?
Well, I think Coach Brown can answer that one because he plays scout defense some, and he's with safety trying to cover Ben. But Ben's he's very fast, and he looks like he's at that top gear, and then he finds another gear, and he's just a tough matchup. It's hard to cover him one-on-one, and that's one thing we were able to hit them over the top, where then they devoted more people to Ben, which opened up the run game. So I mean, it's like I tell Ben and Chris, sometimes your stats don't show up, but I promise you impact the game by just your presence being there.
Yeah, and now switching kind of to the defensive side, looking at Carey, they did 21 of 37, 265 in the air. They had 30 rushes for 63 yards. So averaging just 2.1 yards per carry. And we are going to talk about it in looking at some of their players, but you had the 1 interception. I think their quarterback, Reed Harvey, he's only thrown 1 interception, and it was, to us. But switching over to the defensive side, Coach Brown, Brooks had 14 tackles, tackle for loss, 2 sacks. Brody had 12 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack. Braxton had 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Tanner had 11 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Cole Watson, somebody we talked about last week, 6 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and that 1 interception. Now with them, kind of being more of a passing team, is that why you're going to see more sacks? I think this was the most sacks that we had on the defense throughout the whole year. But kind of take me through the scheme against Carey and, what happened defensively in the last game.
Like Coach Beeman said, they got a very high power pass and spread offense, and they have a great quarterback. I mean, he's smart. He a dual threat. I mean, he can throw the ball. He can run. So we knew that we would have to be very solid in tackling in space because he don't mind tucking it and running. And they do a lot of quick game as well with their athletes. So same thing like Brooks and Tanner. Like when you guys are, they're gonna try to get you guys in space because they feel like a middle linebacker is a mixed match on their athlete. So you're gonna have to break down and make solid tackles and guard zone. So I think the game plan it was a chess match. Like it was one drive we figured it out and we were able to stop them. And they'll come back and make their adjustments and they were able to move the ball. So it's just we were playing chess and it's just who makes the right move at the right time. And I feel like late in the fourth quarter we kind of made a couple right moves in a row to get a couple big stops to seal the game.
Last week, Coach Beeman and I were talking about it, and we talked about Ben moving back to play DB in that carry game. How big was that for the defense in your eyes?
That was very big. They have a speed guy, and he can take the top off the defense, and he can catch it in the flats and make a couple guys miss and run by people. And we just matched that speed with our speed, and some of those deep balls were taken away because there's not a lot of people in our league that could run past Ben Barrett or run with him to cover him either. So Ben has really bought in and locked in, and he's wanted to play defense and wanted to be that guy that we can depend on when we need him to go cover somebody man to man.
Coach Beeman, FCA camp. I want to come back to that. We talked about it earlier. I remember you and I had a conversation about going to FCA camp. You really don't see a lot of these private schools like Parrott that really go to the FCA campus. A lot of the public schools. But I remember back, I don't even, was that in July, June?
June.
This season, yeah, June. This season is just, I told somebody today it's felt like a whole year where,
Yes.
this time. But I remember talking with you about it there, and you said, one of the reasons you wanted your team there were going to be when we play teams like Cary in some of the 11-man games. Do you feel like from, the FCA camp that you have seen it? Obviously, we're 12-0, so haven't lost. But do you see that time that was spent in the FCA camp where it's really just passing, only making a difference now?
Yeah, for sure. We've started to try to incorporate more 7-on-7 because, we knew to win a state championship, you're going to have to beat a team like Cary. And they're basically playing 7-on-7 football out there. They do it really well. And we went there, played a lot of really good public schools. We went toe-to-toe with the best of them. I think Northern Nash won our division. I think we led them all until like the last minute. And I remember you made the statement. Some of the guys were like talking about covering Cary, and you were like, "Guys, you can cover these teams. You can cover Cary." And I think that gave our guys a lot of confidence because we went there, didn't have as big a roster, and I think it helped us our passing game offensively, and then obviously our defense covering the spread. That showing that if we talk and we communicate, we might not be as athletic or as fast, but we can bottle up some of these teams, and it's just translated over. So I think going to FCA camp and doing the other 7-on-7s that we did just really got us rolling, and the guys kept it going.
Yeah, it was after Croatan when we played Croatan in the FCA camp. I forgot who I was talking to, but we're going to have to cover Cary like this. I was like, man, y'all just beat Croatan. Croatan is like a 5-6A school. They had a really great season this year. Has some really big athletes. The big thing for me was nobody really backed down, and you've seen that throughout this year to get to where we're at, to get a chance for another state championship. I want to bring up two players for Cary. Reed Harvey, we've already talked about him. Gunslinger, dual threat, 111 of 169, 2,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He also leads the team in carries at 84, 595 yards, only 4 touchdowns. And then I know you told me, Kenneth Kalisiak.
That's close. That's close.
All right, we're going to go 49 receptions, 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns. He also, carries the ball 26 carries, 140 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Coach Beaman, I'm going to start with you and then go to you, Coach Brown. Talk about these two players for Kerry, what you've seen on film in the regular season, what you've seen this week leading up to the state championship game.
Yeah, I mean, they're two of the best players that I've probably coached against in my time at Parrott. I mean, these guys can really get it done. Reed, we coached against his brother, who actually beat us in 2021 in the semifinals. And then they went on to win a state championship, and now his brother's here, and thank the good Lord that they decided not to have any more boys. That this would be the last Harvey we had to coach against. But they're tough, smart. Their dad played football and baseball at NC State, so they come from an athletic family. He makes all the right decisions. I think the one interception shows you that he doesn't put his team in bad spots. He's got all the physical tools. I mean, he's 6'1", 6'2". He can throw it. He can run it. I mean, he's got a cannon. I mean, I think he's like 92 off the mound in baseball. I think he's going to NC State for baseball. And then number 7, Kenneth is just a twitchy athlete. He can make you miss in a phone booth. I mean, he's that quick left and right. He gave us some problems. I mean, he had a lot of catches against us, and we're gonna have to do a better job against him this time. But two great players, and like me and Coach Brandon talked, we're not gonna shut them out. We're going to do everything right, and they're going to make a good play. But when you get in a state championship game, that's what it's supposed to be. Both teams wouldn't be here if they weren't both very good football teams.
Yeah, they're they're definitely a two-headed snake. I mean, Kerry goes as far as those two guys take them, not discrediting any other player because they have some good other players too. But like Coach said, number 7 had a great game against us. I think 14 catches, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Reed played very well. I mean, his only mistake was the interception, and if you saw it, like it was kind of like, oh, did we intercept that? I can't believe like we intercepted. Like it was a
Yeah.
play that had to be like made. So those guys are very good, and they have the respect. We're gonna do everything we can to minimize their success. Like Coach Beaman said, we're not gonna 100% neutralize them. It's hard to do with great players. So we're just gonna do what we can to minimize them and win the ball game.
Coach Beaman, so Kerry plays on the turf field. We're going to be playing at John Paul on the turf field. I feel like the game kind of speeds up a little bit on turf. I don't know what you think about that. So do you feel like playing them on a turf field already kind of gives you a good idea about how the team stacks up?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was good to play them at their place on their turf. We've had a lot of success at John Paul, and we've got a lot of speed too. So, I think the turf. I don't think the turf will play an effect on the game. Both teams are very athletic and have a lot of speed. So I think it'll be a great venue. You don't have to worry about wet grass or anything like that. It's just athletes going to be athletes.
Yeah, and it looks like the weather's going to be perfect. I know there was a chance earlier in the week, later last week, of some rain. I don't think we're going to have that at all. So, like I said, this game is at John Paul on the turf field. There's one thing that I want to kind of get your opinion on, Coach Brown, from your side. Last week, me and Coach Beaman were talking about the weight room, and I don't want to blow your head up any bigger than it already is, but the job that you do and have done with these kids, not only just the football kids, all the kids that are in your weight program. Kind of talk me through your mentality about the weight room and just kind of go from there.
It's an experience thing for me. I was fortunate enough to play Division I football, so I know firsthand how important the weight room is for athletes in general. And the proof of the pudding is Silas Rouse. I mean, he really gets in there, he gets after it, and he's a sophomore starting on our offense, playing against junior seniors, and he make them look like eighth graders. And that's because he locks in and he really takes the weight room serious. And I feel like if all our athletes do that, I feel like they'll, progress in their respective sport and be better than they are. But it plays a big part because some games are won, merely off how strong and how physical you are. And you can only get that if you lift weights.
Yeah, like I said last week, I mean, it's been such a difference maker. You can kind of see it from, like we talked about it with the game against the Maryland School for the Deaf. Um, you know, just the difference in the conditioning and, the difference that he has made this year. So now we're going to kind of go into some important information. I don't have graphics for this up here. I'm going to kind of talk about some stuff time wise. There will be some graphics coming out on social media tonight, tomorrow, leading up for Friday. So we will have a student walkthrough at 2:00 on campus, and that's going to be for the varsity football team and cheerleaders, and then the students there. Then heading on the bus, we're heading to the Beeman Farm in Snow Hill. We're going to have a send-off at 4:15 sharp from your farm, Coach. We're going to have the send-off at 4:15. Now, the people, fans, parents, grandparents, APA staff, people from your community, this will be your chance to see the team off. So be there 4:15 sharp. I'll have addresses or your address coming out. So you will, we'll be able to find it. If you know where Farmer in the Dale is in Snow Hill, it's right over there. 5:00, the parking lot will open at John Paul. There will be marked off parking. You cannot park across the street or across the side street. They are allowing tailgating. We just ask, please pick up your trash. Be responsible for your trash. The gates will open at 6:00. Game starts at 7. We also have a free spirit bus for 6th through 12th graders. Any students who want to go is going to be leaving from the campus at 5:15. Should be back about 10:15, 10:30, just depending on game time. Admission for students is free. So any students from Parrott that want to attend, it is free to go to the game. Non-students, it is $11.50, and that's with the processing fee. We're going to post that. That's going to be on GoFan just like it was last week, or it's $15 cash or card at the gate. Concessions will be open. John Paul's going to have concessions out there. Again, this week, 3 ways to taking this game: in person, which I highly suggest. If you're ain't got nothing going on, even if you got something going on. So in person, on the radio, the River, Paul and Mr. Jimmy, Jason, they're going to broadcast this game on the radio again. And then there will be a live stream linked from John Paul. I've got that link, and we'll get that out as soon as possible. It will not be on our Parrott YouTube channel where this is. So, like I said, there's a lot of information. We're going to get all that stuff out. But to kind of end it, Coach Brown, I'm going to start with you first. Anything that you kind of want to say to the fans, or, anything you feel like we've missed that you want to bring up?
No, just to the fans and the APA community, we appreciate you guys' support like you have been doing all season. And let's just get together and come together just one last time to help these guys accomplish a lifelong goal that not many that play football for a long time have accomplished. Like, it's a once in a lifetime thing. So they're going to need all your love and support on Friday night.
Coach Beeman?
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been, working in the weight room for years. We started spring practice back in March. So it's been a long season. These guys have worked really hard for this opportunity. So we ask that everyone to please come to John Paul Friday night, because these guys really feed off the energy. If our fans are loud and they see everybody behind them supporting them, I mean, that's a huge factor. I mean, that's an X factor. So we appreciate all the support we've been given this year. Please come, to school at 2:00 for the send off there. If you can't make it there, come to the barn. Be there at 4:15. The bus is going to pull out at 4:30. We hope you line the driveway and really show these guys how much they mean to Parrott Academy. And we have great school spirit. We're a big family at Parrott, so families support each other in times like this. So we need all your support, and we're looking forward to it. And just hoping for a great game.
Yeah, and bring your cowbells. Everybody bring your cowbells. I know they've been I know y'all hear them in the stands. I love it's like old Mississippi State down there. But yeah, we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great game. This is the game that is going to feed family trees, as the guys from 8 Man Extreme said. The first matchup against Cary was the ones that feeds families. This one's feeding family trees. So thanks again to both of you, Coach Brown, Coach Beeman, for being on here. Just a little programming note. I'm going to hide this. There's a little turkey down here in the bottom. Next week's Thanksgiving, short week. So we will not have an APA Sports Report next week. But I hope everybody, if we don't see you Friday, have a happy Thanksgiving. Be blessed, as Daniel Pridgeon would say. And we have a fall sports awards banquet Monday in the SAC, 6:00.
Yep.
Got that in. Almost forgot. So, gentlemen, thank y'all so much. 2 more sleeps until we get a state championship game. Good luck, and we'll see you out there Friday.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having us.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see y'all. Go Pats.